With us now is Robyn Stecher. Welcome to the show, Robyn. How are you?
Thank you. I'm quite well. Thank you for having me on.
When somebody mentioned your story to me, they called me to tell me about you, and I was like, oh, we have a lot in common. And so that's why I couldn't wait to have you on. So, congratulations on your new book. And one of the things that we have in common is the fact that we are tenacious and we have to, we just go for it no matter what. You've been through a lot in your life. Can you share with us and our audience a little bit about some of the challenges that you've faced in your journey? I know you started out in the entertainment industry, lots of accolades to you there, and then life had a little challenging moment for you. So, can we talk about that, Robyn, please?
Absolutely. A few. The first challenging moment was that I refused to learn how to type. So when you want to do something, you graduate school in 1980 and you can't type your way out of a paper bag, you're pretty much a loser. The first thing I did was I invested in some good suits and I made myself into an entrepreneur, all show I thought. I met an agent at a lecture, talent agent. He was representing a speaker, Tom Wolfe, and he said, would I like to go for a drink? And I didn't want to do that because I didn't know about the quid pro quo. However, when he told me that he was Tom Wolfe's agent and he would introduce me to Tom Wolfe, I said, okay, I got to meet this guy. Lied to him and told him I was a producer. When he said, what do I produce? I said, TV. I knew nothing about television production. I was unemployed. However, that launched me into the entertainment industry, and nobody was more ambitious than me. I was rising to the top of my profession. I was wearing my suits. I was somebody. I was eating falafel and pizza every night, but ultimately, I was going to make it. And 10 years into that career, I became pregnant very unexpectedly. And very unexpectedly, that 6 pound, 2 ounce baby was born with a very rare genetic syndrome. So ultimately, my ambitiousness and my advocacy shifted gears substantially, and suddenly this baby was going to be the project of a lifetime. The great news is this baby is 29 years old today, and despite everything every doctor ever said about him, he'd never handwrite, which he doesn't. He'd never tie his shoes, which he doesn't. But he's getting his BA from Lesley University. He lives independently in Cambridge, Mass, by himself, without help, in an apartment like I did in Greenwich Village. And he has been there 11 years and 6 years on his own in this apartment. And so one must sometimes hold out for the answer that you tell yourself versus what people tell you about what your life is going to be. And story, right? So grit, grace, and identity, all forged from story, right? Because our identities are a lot about the stories we tell ourselves. Who am I? It's pretty much not just who you decide I am, that's the social context of identity, but there's the what I believe about myself, that's the individual identity. And so I'm a big believer in standing on the platform of storytelling. Yeah.
Now, did you ever learn how to type, Robyn? I'm just curious because you've written a book. So, did you like longhand or did you have somebody type it up for you? What was the process like for you as a non typist?
I love that. Um, I very quickly hunt and peck,
Okay.
super fast. And I write on a computer only, and I don't write longhand. And I've written actually two books, and but I am a really fast typist. I just use like a few fingers and get it done.
What are you hoping that the audience will gain from buying this book? What do you want them to glean from it and walk away from it with?
An experience. I write in a very visual way. I drop the reader right into the action from the beginning. And even though these are very familial stories, and I say right in my introduction, I didn't land a plane on the Hudson and save 350 lives. But I think we all get to have a story that in many ways defines us. And when we share those stories, we get closer to each other and we get to learn something about ourselves. And what I really hope is that the experience of reading these stories is not necessarily that you identify entirely with what I experienced, but that your experience can somehow point out your aspirations, your dreams, your challenges. Your dreams can come true, your challenges can be overcome. that through the eyes, through the lens of my life, you might experience your own life just a little bit differently, or actually think about something you hadn't thought about before.
When I first started the television show, that's one of the things that I said. It was during 2008 when a lot of people were going through major challenges. You know, home equity lines of credit were frozen, and you know it was a difficult time for a lot of people, and people had to like reinvent themselves way back then even. And I thought if I could just give somebody hope, if they could just watch this segment and say, if they can do it, I can do it. Right? If I could just give them that, then I knew that I had succeeded in life. And it sounds like that your book is very similar, that you just want the reader to be able to see something that moves them forward.
Absolutely. Back to story. So much of our lives are colored by and shaped by the things we heard when we were young or little, what our culture helped us identify as, or our religion, or our parents, or our family. And then there are the circumstances. And then one day we grow up and we get to tell ourselves stories about ourselves. And I believe that my son's entire success was based on really what he heard about himself from a very young age. And that he does not identify as somebody who is incapable. He identifies as somebody differently abled, but totally able. And even if he wasn't able to play on a team, for instance, he figured out how to get a spot on the team, even if it was schlepping the equipment. And so it's the fabric of that. It's that tapestry we weave together about ourselves. And even how we impart to our friends, our spouses, our partners, our strangers, or how we mentor, that we can inspire. You can change a whole life by telling a single anecdotal story about something that happened to you, and your life changes, somebody else changes. And then you hear years later, oh, that person went on to do, something spectacular. And then you remember, oh, yeah, we had this conversation and the spark ignited and boom, that person kind of grew some wings and flew. What's better than that? Nothing.
Nothing.
Am I?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. I feel where your soul is, and that's why I knew right from the get-go when somebody had mentioned, they're like, oh, we really want to, have Robyn be on your show. You think she'd be a great guest? And I'm like, I couldn't agree more. You are fabulous, and I want to know you beyond this interview. I certainly
Oh, yeah.
do, because you're like my kind of person. I just want to collect you. I'm like, oh yeah, So congratulations, Robyn.
Thank
I'm
you.
looking forward to knowing you on a personal level as well, and happiness to you. Way to go, because you
Thank
are
you so
making,
much.
yeah, you're making a difference. I can just it exudes right through the lens. So way to go. I'm going to applaud you actually. Yay, way to
Thank you.
go, Robyn. We all need to
I
be
want to
each
say
other's
one quick
cheerleaders.
thing before we
Sure,
wrap, if you don't mind.
absolutely.
Something that really dawned on me recently, and I'm pretty excited about this, is that after almost 40 years in the entertainment industry, I discovered that I have a voice that can speak for others, and that representation of differently abled people in the entertainment industry is really an issue right now. And when we talk about diversity, and we usually are thinking about LGBTQ and persons of color, that we really want to start embracing persons who are differently able as well. And I've begun a journey to really be able to influence and make an impact on that part sector of our community in the entertainment industry. And I feel I am infused with this excitement and passion about being able to use the skill set that I have as both a communicator and advocate, and the fact that I know a little bit about that business, just a little. So I thank you for allowing me to be able to say that, because that's super important at this particular juncture in time. Yeah.
You are absolutely welcome. We have one young man, Michael, that comes in every Tuesday from Tuesdays from 10 to 12, and he's helping me by going through all of our videos and tagging them and finding tags that he finds interesting. And then we have another wonderful woman. Her name is Maria, and she's a poet, and she's on the spectrum, and she's so highly gifted, and all of her artwork is hanging in our hallway, our entranceway. And I'm just like you. So if you're creating an organization or foundation, or if you need help getting the word out, I'm your girl. So count on me for that.
Thank you
So
so much.
I,
Thank you,
I, I
Donna.
pledge my connection to you for that, because I believe in that 100%. We all can do small things and great things together. So thank you so
Thank you.
much. Okay. Be well, Robyn. Take
Thank-
care.
Take care. Thank you. Bye
You're
bye.
welcome. Thank you. Bye-bye.